from the beyond and haunting interviews with your cringe-worthy host, Woody G. Watts. Welcome to Hill City Paranormal.
This is Woody Watts with Hill City Paranormal. And I have a special guest with me that we haven't done an episode together for, oh my gosh, quite some time.
Yeah,
right?
I'm just not good enough, I guess. I'm not scared
We
enough.
have done a lot of interviews between then and now. Some amazing people have been on the podcast.
That's right,
Some
way better than me.
Amazing haunted hotline calls and tales from the beyond and a little bit of everything. Thank you for joining me on another episode, my lovely wife, Laura.
Hey, guys. So I'm holding in my hand right now a crisp copy. I think this is the coolest book. Really, seriously. A crisp copy, brand new, right off the press. Tales from the Beyond Series 1.
Yes. So, you know, being prepared for a podcast is a positive, you know, because you do a lot of interviews and you bank a lot of episodes and you're ahead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the only negative is like when you have something kind of cool come up.
That's
and
right.
You've kind of planned out everything. You don't get to talk about it till like 2 months later. So if you have not, everybody, I would encourage you to please pick up a copy of our brand new book. It is in collaboration with Wicked Harvest Books. Jared is an amazing writer. You know, we kind of collaborate on some stories that include Hill City Paranormal Cruise, local locations here for us. And they're like, how would you describe, like Goosebumps for adults?
Sure.
Basically, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun read.
Great read. Easy read. All chapters were, I would believe, fitting for anyone who just wants to have a good, just kind of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun book. And it was fun to collaborate with him because he was just so open to ideas and, you know, stories and stuff featuring us, and they're all fiction, but they're fun. So
There are a couple of them in there, though.
they're good.
You forget.
They're good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, and everybody that picked up the initial pre-order copy, thank you so much. We shipped all those out, put some free swag in them. You know, we have 2 ways of buying it. So you can go to our website and buy one copy where we'll autograph it and we'll put some stickers and stuff in it. And then we have another way now, and that is on Amazon. You can order directly from Amazon and you can get Prime shipping, get it right to your door. It won't be autographed, but you save a little bit on the shipping. It's, you know, whatever you want. So there we go.
Listen,
Thank you.
Just add it to your cart.
Add it to your cart. Get it right now.
That's right.
It's worth it. It's Hill City Paranormal, guys.
Christmas in July.
That's it. That's it.
Stocking stuffer.
So from the last time that we've done an episode up until now, a lot has happened. A lot, right? Like right now, the lights are dimming
Oh, boy.
in the studio. It's a little creepy. Okay. So, all right, there is just so much to cover, and I'm going to try to stay on point with you, and we're going to try to go over everything. But the first, we got the book, right?
Right.
Second, is that we have done a couple of video episodes and podcast episodes of your home location where you grew up, right?
Mhm.
So if for those of you who did not catch the Long Mountain Investigation, it's a video episode. It's on our YouTube website. Go check that out. That is a very, very brief. That's a very brief, fun video episode of a very, how would you say it? Legendary place, right?
Yeah.
Like I only skimmed, you know, a little bit of that. And then after that, we haven't even talked about the day you went up and you had a sit down session with one of the greatest storytellers who have ever lived.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Chops, which is Laura's
Good
dad.
old Chops.
It's Laura's father. So Laura, tell everyone, first of all, give us a little bit about Long Mountain.
Okay.
And that whole investigation. And then we're going to get into what we have called the Glenn Files.
Which is by far, and it's not just as it's my dad, but it's by far, I think, the best stories that you've compiled. And certainly my dad is amazing, and he is incredible, and he has a history of hauntings. But I would say the most riveting for me was listening to them, firsthand, and Woody did a great job putting them together. But yeah, so Rustburg, Virginia, small town, there was, seriously, I'm not that old, but I mean, I can remember even just in the 90s, this town was still, it didn't have a Food Lion. It didn't have a grocery store. The only thing it had was a house turned grocery store called Long Mountain. I remember a time when you could keep your steaks on a tab. There was like a meat tab you could go pay. I remember that. And it was one lady working in there, and she made the pies and she made the bread. I mean, this place was like time capsule.
Yeah, old school.
But there's something special about Rustburg in
yeah.
that, it felt like small town America at its finest. And really, farmlands, no hustle and bustle, one stoplight town. It was a quickie food. We all knew each other. We all hung out at the car wash. It was just one of these special places. And even then, even now in 2020, it hasn't changed all that much. We do now have a Mexican restaurant, which I can't really remember the name of.
La Carreta.
Ajo. And gracias. And a Food Lion and a Family Dollar. But again, it's just something that when you drive through it, you'll just be surprised.
Yeah.
That there's not a lot of developments, and there's not a lot. It's just
It's
kind
not
of
a
one of those.
Walmart.
No.
It's not
It's just one of those places where you kind of are proud. You're
Yeah.
proud to be, and I would say the same about where you grew up. It's
Yeah.
just kind of like, I'm still sort of proud. I still roll my windows down. I still play country music, even though I don't even listen to country music. But and it's just
everybody
something.
knows everybody.
Right.
Everybody knows everybody there. It's
Yeah.
a rural town.
Mhm.
It's like right at the foot of the mountains. It's got a little bit of every landscape, just so for everybody's listening. You've got mountains, you've got some water, and you've
Yeah.
got some fields.
Yeah.
So it's just a good combination of every, I don't know, Americana.
Yeah, my dad was born in Rustburg. I was born in Rustburg, and so his whole family, 7 brothers, 2 sisters, there's 9 of them total. They all still live there, those that are still living, bless them. But yeah, and so with that comes all of this history that my dad brings about every road, every nook and cranny of that place, and he just recalls it in pristine, vivid, memory.
Oh, he's descriptive.
And he's great to talk to. And
Yeah.
I will put my phone and voice memo him. And I started doing this thinking, man, when I would go up there and Woody wasn't with me, I say, Woody needs to hear this. Woody would live for this story. So yeah, like I love the Glenn Files. I think that they are going to be the standard really for what I think you're going to do. And I'm just excited because I love to hear any good story from my dad.
Oh, and well, that day, for example, Laura gone up there, took her phone, and you sat down and you were just like, hey, tell me some stories. Because, we've been talking about coming up there for a while.
Right.
And then you just caught him on a day with your phone, and it was awesome. And then you started sending them to me, and I was like, part of me is like, oh, I don't have my microphone. I don't have a camera. I can't do a proper episode. But then you start listening to him. He's like, you know what? Good stories are good stories.
Mm-hmm.
It like a tape cassette still has an awesome sound.
That's right.
Vinyl has good sound. Like all this stuff, like a good story is a good story. And your dad, he has some, he has some good ones. Like I am not exaggerating.
This
Like
man survived.
yes, and I even 2 of them didn't even make the cut. I'm back that up. Didn't make the cut. I didn't have enough time to put these 2 in there because the other ones were so supernatural and so like just had an eerie feeling to them. I was like, oh, I'm gonna save these other 2 later. But yeah, you were up there, and we'd done the Long Mountain. I'll quote investigation. Okay, so if you've seen my videos, you know my level of investigation. I'm out there having fun, putting up trail cams. We're just having a good time.
That's right.
Right. We had done the Long Mountain one not long before that, where we had put up a couple of trail cams up on that mountain and describe how large it is and like where he lives specifically right now.
So I think it was about 1990, I'd say. My dad purchased 50 acres, 48 acres or so, right in the center of Rustburg. It's about 2 miles outside of kind of the one stoplight. And he purchased this land. And I can remember when we were sort of thinking about, or we knew we were going to build, we went out, we purchased a trailer. And we parked this trailer, and the land of where we wanted to build would not perk.
Mm-hmm.
So there was only one other thing to do, and that was go up. So we started to, blast these rocks. I remember, dynamite companies coming up there, and it's a mountain. It's literally the center of Long Mountain. So my dad wanted a view. He wanted his log cabin dream. So believe it or not, he was... it took him about 6 or 7 years to see that dream finally come to fruition. And he now sits atop a beautiful range of mountains. He is the only one really within miles. And he has a great little plot. So when you're pulling into the land, the acreage or whatever, there's just this huge sort of field. And then you keep going, and then you hit the wood line, and then you keep trekking up the mountain, and then you reach his land.
And for reference, we have taken the drone out there. All right, so at the bottom of the mountain, I go all the way up. I'm not even level with his living room window yet.
Right.
All right, and my drone tops out around 390 some feet. Okay, so then you get to where his cabin is. All right, and then I've taken the drone off from that point, and I still can't see over top of the mountain. Okay, so that'll just give you a reference of like, he's not at the bottom, and even at the top. So he has woods in front of him.
That's right.
And then where he's like, he kind of hid and tucked away. And then you've got this huge mountain behind him that we can't see over with the drone.
No.
So, okay.
So my dad built this house with a fellow friend of his. And this guy was from the mountains of Montana. This is a log cabin unlike anything you've really seen. I can remember these huge trucks, and I'm probably in middle school, early high school, and these guys are out there hand chucking these logs. They're taking these saws with 2 hands, and they're just like peeling this bark. And I remember going out and collecting a lot of the pieces because they were curled and twirled. And of course, I'm a girl, so I'm having fun with that. But there's no chinking between the logs. So the logs are laid to fit each other. So once one is cut, they cut another one, and then it's just an incredible sight.
Yeah.
But of course, any handmade structure comes with its turmoil. I can remember as a kid waking up and my bed was floating, not because of scary spirits, but because of literal water. One of the sides of the house that faced the sun began to crack, and then the logs started to change, and then the water seeped in. So, I mean, great stories I could tell you all day.
Rustic mountain man.
Yeah,
that's how
yeah.
you. That's how
I think
you
that's the
describe
perfect way.
Yeah.
So beautiful home. Hopefully, maybe Woody will even post a couple pictures or so. But my dad has lived on this property, and really, he is a self-made man. He calls it the jungle. He's up there. He knows the names. He's even named some of the wildlife around there. So when he tells a story, it's credible. That he's had an experience. And so I had my first experience with something weird, something strange, as a moved out 37-year-old adult. And this happened 2 months ago.
And this is kind of what initiated us to keep investigating, to do the Long Mountain investigation, and to keep some trail cams up there.
Mm-hmm.
This is what made us do that.
Sure. So my dad recently got divorced, and not from my mother, but from my stepmother. And kind of had this sort of, I would say most of us go through this when you have some sort of change in your life. You kind of just want to purge. And he was ready to do this. He said, would you just come up and would you help me sort of purge out everything that I've got going on here in the kitchen, in my garage, and all of this. Sure, I'm happy to help. So, long story short, we got down to the food items, and his previous spouse was a gourmet chef. I mean, she would cook some of the most amazing things. Well, my dad, he's a pork chop mustard kind of guy.
Fried bologna.
Yeah, so he just didn't have use for a lot of these items that were up there. So, and then the man's gotten soft in his old age, so he's like, oh, I hate to see it go to waste. And so, so I'm like, well, what do you want me to do with it? He's like, well, I have a big stew pot. What if we opened up all the cans and we kind of got everything out of the pantry and we just sort of made a goulash of items and just put them in this big stew pot? Sure, Dad, no problem. So here I am. I'm unwrapping trout. I'm emptying Italian breadcrumbs. I mean, this is like everything you can think of. I'm opening up canned goods that Woody had probably been in that pantry since 2002.
Bigfoot is either going to love it or he's going to have a tummy ache that he will
Right. So you can see where this is going. So I took about 7 or 8 pots full. And the pot is seriously...
like it's one of those big...
it's like an 8-gallon pot.
Yeah, it's huge.
So I took it out to the wood line, which is where he told me to go. And this is the mountain that goes up behind the house. So this is where those trees start.
Yeah.
So, where he cleared for the cabin, this is now where those trees start. He said, take it up to that wood line, just pour it out there. I got some raccoons. I got some, stray cats. I got some, maybe
couple
some
of fox.
Yeah. They'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
So of course I tried my best to do everything I was told to do, and I'm heave-hoeing it over the side. And then I heard what I can't even describe other than it freaked me out. I heard this sort of grumbling sound. It sounded like guttural, like deep. And it was like a snarl. And I dropped this 8-gallon thing and I go running inside the house. And I was like, Dad, there's something out there. I don't know what it is. But at this time, it's getting a little dark. But I just said, I'm not going back out there. I can't go back out there. So, of course, he grabs his, little pistol that he keeps in the...
he calls his piece.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to get my piece.
Yeah, so he grabs that and he just Walker, Texas Rangers it out there. And he goes a-looking. And then came back a couple minutes later and just said, yeah, Laura, it's probably a downshifting truck.
Yes, and let me interrupt you right here.
Sure.
First of all, I know what you're thinking. Well, I think people listening, we've heard bear, we've heard deer,
Right.
and we've heard coyotes. We've heard all the game just about that we know up there, and so has he.
Yes,
Okay?
he has.
So and this whole time, Laura has said she's from this area.
That's right.
So we're not new to the country.
I've seen bears. I lived in that house my whole entire high school.
Yeah. You've heard stuff before.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things when she called me and she described the sound. And then when you were like, I've never, and he hadn't heard it, but then he, in his comforting way to you,
right,
was, and in the video, he talks about the amphitheater of the mountain.
Right.
So if you want to hear that explanation, please go watch that video. But just for reference,
that's right.
You know what a bear sounds like. You know what a deer sounds like. You know what all these animals basically sound like.
Sure.
And that wasn't one of them.
No. And we grew up with labs. We had labs all growing up, big dogs. I mean, I used to just ride them. They're big. And I remember when I heard it, that was like, this is new. And, we've had bear on that mountain. We've had, black bears. They do make noises. This was different. Mm-hmm. So of course he comes back in, tells me it's a downshifting, 8-wheeler on the 24 highway that's 1.5 miles, 2 miles away. I said, Dad, I know what that sounds like too. It wasn't that. And so what I believe to be, and what I could say honestly, since I found footprints and I've seen these broken, twisted trees.
That's right. Littleton Bigfoot,
yeah,
folks.
I mean, this was something that it was just unworldly to me. And I have yet to go out to that tree line and really, I want Woody to investigate. But then again, I'm like, that would terrify me
Yeah.
if something did happen. Because, I don't know. I don't, it was aggressive, but it wasn't, it was like snarling, but it almost sounded like breath at the same time, like almost just
Yeah.
like it was breathing. I don't know.
So that led us to one, again, where she was dumping this food. It's really behind his house, and it just mountains.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could truly get lost and nobody would ever find you. Honestly, if you really really truth be told. So she calls me, she tells me about it, and then so that then leads us to do a little mini investigation during all the quarantine mess where we can't really go into new places, but family's okay. We're out in the middle of the woods. Who's going to hurt? We set up a trail cam up there. Well, the first time we set up a trail cam, I didn't really that was my very first trail cam. So I was in experience, I didn't angle it exactly right. I got a bunch of shots of him mowing the yard.
That's
okay.
right.
That was about it.
Riveting.
Right? So, but we went up there and we took some Bojangles chicken and we dumped that over the side, and we really we're trying to feed whatever's out there so we come out for the trail cam. So we go back up there. I gave it 3 weeks, I think, something like that. I can't remember. Nothing really bad shots. So then I readjust it. I readjust the trail cam at a lower standpoint and a little bit deeper in the woods. We had built up a little courage to kind of go further in the woods this time. And so this second round of trail cam footage, right? I think we ended up downloading, I was 180 some clips from like a 2-week period, I believe.
Yeah.
And in that, all right, I can't say definitively that we have the clearest picture of a Sasquatch. I can't say that. However, I mean, it was like a zoo up in your dad's
Sure
woods.
it was.
Every picture was for wildlife. It was like a Bambi movie. It was unbelievable. So every picture is something.
Yeah.
So I knew, for one, the first 70 some pictures had something in it the whole time.
Right.
So I knew, one, okay, so this is a great trail cam that is picking up motion, and it's not a leaf or a branch or whatever, right? So then about halfway through, there's about 3 video clips that we cannot figure out what set it off, and they're off. It's something off in a distance.
Yeah.
So it was, one, big enough.
Yep.
To trigger the trail cam.
Terrifying.
2, it was big enough to do it a couple of times. So it wasn't like a fluke. It was right around the same time it did it, and it did it again. And then there was a fox in one, then a second fox, and then it did it again.
Mm-hmm.
So we left the trail cam up there. This is round 3, and we have not gone back up there yet to get that footage, because I want to give it a little bit longer to see if it's, if it has anything to do with a comfort level,
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not jumping to it's a Sasquatch. I can't jump to that every time, because I want it to be. I absolutely want it to be. However, I can't say it wasn't something weird and out in the woods. Right. So
right.
Now we did the Long Mountain investigation. All right. So in between the times, right, you went up there to visit with him and to grocery shop, since he wasn't allowed to go quarantine. So the Glenn Files is available in the podcast. So please give it a listen and know that, this is like a little behind the scenes of that episode, which is already published. So go listen to it. It's great stories. So give me a little example. You're sitting there and you pull out your phone and you're like, just record, Dad. Give me the brief trailer of some of the stories that all of a sudden you start hearing and you're like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I can remember him saying that the claw marks are still on that farmhouse door, and that if we were to go back to his home where he grew up, that we would see those.
That was a good story. That one gave me chills listening to it and editing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good one. And then he had another one. It was a UFO
Yeah.
I think it was a U. So he is
Mhm.
really like, so you're sitting there and your dad's stories range from some beast
Yes.
chasing them, scratching a door. Another one, possible UFO sighting and then blacking out.
Yes.
And all these, for the most part, he has like, what's a good word of saying a collaborative? What would like he has like a somebody with him
Sure. Yeah.
to
Yeah.
to
A witness.
a witness.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has witnesses that can back his stories up, and it's not just tall tales. It's like he has several people that have experienced these with him,
Yes.
and that when you pull them away, they give this same story.
And I think our goal, at least for Woody and I, is to get the brothers Eagle together, to get them to sit down. My uncle Beaky, my uncle Ronnie, and getting them to sit down, and the three of them corroborate those stories and hear the three of them talk. And I'm hoping to get a camera too. This would be, I mean,
Oh, a great documentary. That's the
Gosh.
word. What'd you say? Cooperate. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was the word I was looking for. Because I remember he briefly touched on it when we were videoing him, and he touched on his UFO experience, and then all of a sudden I'm sitting here editing. You had sent me the voicemail, the memos, and then I'm editing it. I'm like, oh my Lord. Like the claw marks on the door one, and then the one with the red eyes, and they actually have inspired me in some of the stories that we're filming and
Yeah.
writing, and we're going to make little short films out of. But like you're sitting there, and then there was one story that you actually jumped in with your UFO experience that we talked about. Gosh, I don't know, it have been several episodes back. So what I loved about these, one, it's documenting your family's history in a way, your dad's, stories. But like there were some that now you can jump in and you're like, yeah, I've had some experiences too. And that from especially from our paranormal journey where, before, if you have not had experiences, not that you judge, but you're like, they're making it up.
Right.
They're whatever. Yeah, right. Claw marks. Having been through what we've been through now, what would you say to those stories?
I mean, seriously? Like, you guys, if you, right, you definitely have your own personal, it's intimate relationship with your paranormal experience, but it is not any excuse to disregard anybody else's.
No, because we know, and people have heard us talk a ton about the Littleton Bigfoot experience. If we had not experienced that, like everything that we experience now, it really opens up my eyes even further. So when I hear someone else's story, it really truly is a no judgment zone.
Yeah.
Because listen, I know how I may sound telling my story, and I, with every fiber of my being, believe it because I know it happened.
That's right.
So it's like when your dad is telling his stories now, maybe when you're growing up, it's like, oh, Dad's
Drunk again.
oh, yeah. Okay, Dad. Sure, claw marks. Now it's straight up. We sit up in the chair. It's like, okay.
Oh
boy.
junk.
Because it hasn't changed.
Right.
Right? Like you've heard some of these stories when you're a kid with your uncles and stuff. Like it's not like all of a sudden like the beast goes from being 2 foot tall to 20 foot tall. Like,
yeah.
It's like they stay pretty consistent. Right?
Right.
All
Right.
So if you have not, please go check out the Glenn Files.
For real.
It was just released. I really didn't edit a little behind the scenes. I didn't edit him out a lot at all. All I did was add some spooky music. And then, so because I was listening to the stories and I was like, you know what? Just like the Allen interview with the alien abductions.
Yeah.
Like let people hear it. Let it be raw.
Mm-hmm.
Let it be the way that it is told.
Yeah.
So I am so excited for people to hear that. And I'm excited that we documented your father's, some of his.
Yeah, he's a treasure trove, that
some
man.
of his history.
For sure.
So everybody check out the Glen Files if you have not. And to know what we're talking about, the Long Mountain mystery, the mysterious Long Mountain, go check out that video on the website. You kind of get a background. You meet Glenn in the video, and then it helps with the podcast episode.
Yes.
It helps to put a face. And don't forget your book, right? Your Tales from the
I already
Beyond.
told them they got to add it to their
Tales
cart.
from the Beyond Series 1.
Go get your copy. You won't regret it. It can be a beach read if you get it right now. It can be a great fall spooky around the campfire add to your camping gear, or get it for Christmas for somebody that just loves a good spooky story.
That's right. That's right. So some of the pre-orders were very awesome because they would, when you order, you can send me a message and say, hey, will you autograph it? Which is very flattering. I'm going to tell y'all right now, that is so flattering. But
you should see him. He's super nervous.
Oh
before
my
he does
gosh.
it.
I triple check every signature. And I put, so those of you who have the book, and I put believe in it.
Laura, did I spell believe right? Yes, for the 15th time.
Everybody out there with my signed book, I want you to know I checked that word believe 50 times before I put it in the package to mail. So a lot of care went into it, right?
That's the word.
That's the word.
A lot of care, a lot of frustration
Oh
on
my
this end,
gosh.
but a lot of care on his end for
Oh
sure.
man, that was
You guys made his day. Let me just be honest. My husband is humble. He doesn't ever rant or rave about his accomplishments. He's a gold winning man. You have won awards that small businesses just don't win.
I'm sliding her like a 20 right now.
No. Hey, yeah, you could do that. But no, I mean, and it's just one of your brilliant ideas come to life, and it deserves the recognition. It deserves the buy. It deserves the person who receives it to get the same joy when they read it as I do. And it's not just because it's your book, it's because it's your ideas alive. And I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much. And I have got to thank Jared again for being just an amazing collaborator in his publishing company, Wicked Harvest Books. Like he has books out that, like, really our friendship started. He was listening to the podcast and then reached out, and then he sent me his book, and I read his book and I loved it. And I was like, dude, like, this is what I had in mind. You know, I'm not like a good writer though. Like, I can put some idea if I'm really into it, maybe one story, maybe the beginning. But like, I was like, can we collaborate? Let's talk this out, and here's what I got in mind. What do you have in mind? And it's just amazing. And I just love friendships like that. Like that, where you automatically connect and you automatically just are on the same page, and it was just rocking and rolling for this book. But
I hear Jared's name more often because, again, if you're listening, you know, you did make this possible, and Woody is forever grateful, and I'm forever grateful because, you know, he has just found an outlet. And
Yeah.
Jared, you know, he's found him in the perfect time, because you had talked about, I've written some children's books, but they're still in my phone. You know, it's like you talked about it. You got the right people in your corner, and I think God gave them to you.
Yeah.
And for certain, this guy is just one of and I'm excited to meet him. I'm excited.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
we got to go to Michigan. Was it Michigan?
It's Michigan. Yeah, it's after all this quarantine kind of hit. But just amazing. And honestly, check out his other books.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So I am blessed. My business is blessed. And we are having fun with Hill City Paranormal. We do a bunch of videos. We have this new, not a business, but like a film company, basically. Thrasher's Lake Entertainment. You know me, like new businesses. You're like, oh, here he goes. Another logo.
Another t-shirt.
Another shirt being made.
Another logo, another t-shirt,
that
another website,
is
another
that another
sticker.
business license? No, like it's so much so that this it has ignited even more creativity and inspiration in me. Like, so that we started a film division of the video company where we do nothing but spooky short films, spooky documentaries, and they're kind of housed under that Thrasher's Lake Entertainment. And we'll talk more about Thrasher's Lake in another episode. There's a whole reason why everything's taking place there. It's like a universe. It's like the Thrasher's Lake universe in my head, right? And Jared's like, he's part of it. Wicked Harvest Books, all the characters in that. Just
Thanks, Jared.
yeah, thanks, Jared. This is the Jared episode.
This is dedicated to Jared.
Well, thank you for being in another episode and talking about your awesome hometown.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, everybody. And if you are driving through little Central Virginia, yeah, just make a little loop through Rustburg. Stop by Long Mountain Grocery. That's what we're talking about, that little grocery store. So thank you for explaining the Glen Files and Long Mountain. And if you have not heard those episodes, please go take a listen. They are worth a listen.
Yes.
Be sure to check out our website at hillcityparanormal.com and call our haunted hotline at 701-HAUNTED or 701-428-6833 with your spooky tale. Thank you for listening to Hill City Paranormal.